Hey, welcome back to Practice Matters. We are in Module 7. So only a couple more left after this. And this module is kind of fun. It's called Avoiding the Rookie Mistakes of Practicing. Now, I don't know about you, but I sometimes learn way better by finding out what not to do. So in this session, we're going to talk about the rookie mistakes of practicing. So basically, what not to do when you practice. And as a way to help us frame these mistakes to avoid, we're going to use an acrostic with the word prepared. So the first P of prepared is playing, not practicing. So what do I mean by that? Well, just because we're playing doesn't mean we're actually practicing. Too many times musicians just play on their instruments or sing and think they're just practicing, but it's really just mindlessly messing around. And you know what? There's a place for that. You want to just play and sing music for enjoyment. That's a good thing. But moving through those stages of learning and getting a song to a place where you have mastery requires active practice, not just mindlessly playing through a song. All right, so then what's R? R is for rehearsal or reel. And the rookie mistake here is not putting any aspect of rehearsal into the personal practice time. Now, you might be confused because we just talked earlier about not practicing at rehearsals. And that's right, we don't want to practice at rehearsals. We want to learn our songs before we come to rehearsal. But one of the components of rehearsal is that we're in a real setting. We're up here on the platform, that we're going to be leading from. And the sound system is on, and the band is with us, and the lead guitarist is wearing his skinny jeans. God help us all. And so good rehearsals need to have as many real elements in them as possible to help us prepare. And when we practice on our own, we can bring elements of rehearsal or realness into our practice time. For instance, most of us guitarists stand when we're playing on a Sunday morning. But how do you practice? Well, you sit down, you hunch over your guitar. So what you want to do as you're preparing at home is stand up and get used to that. And another real aspect that we can put into our practice is not stopping the song once we start. It's too easy when we're by ourselves to stop the song when we mess up, but that's not going to happen here in the service. So if you mess up, you have to work on recovering and jumping back in with the rest of the team. So as part of your practice time, force yourself not to stop. And if you have a click playing, that'll add another element of real because you'll have to stay on time. So work at putting elements of real in. Stand up, move around, play in time, look up and visualize the congregation. Look up and worship. Imagine you're in heaven's throne room and you're at the feet of Jesus. That can help you to bring a real element into our worship musicianship. And here's the thing, we don't practice at rehearsals, but we do want to rehearse in our practices. Cool? All right, so the next letter is this. It's E, and that stands for enough. And the rookie mistake we're talking about here is playing through the song once and calling it good enough. Or you just listen once and call it good enough. And by the way, not listening at all is a huge, massive rookie mistake. You gotta listen to the music as part of your learning process. Now, the whole point of Practice Matters isn't to get you to practice X amount of hours a week, but the point of Practice Matters is to get you to practice enough to effectively be prepared for rehearsal and then to be prepared for services. And sometimes this rookie mistake of not enough is made by people who haven't been rookies for years. We veteran players who have been doing this a while, we tend to think we can just wing it. So just playing through a song once we think is good enough. But chances are we probably need more work than that to get the song to where it needs to be. Now, one of the last rookie mistake aspects of enough is a team member not giving themselves enough time to practice. So they essentially try to have a cram session right before rehearsal. We've all been there. We've all done that. We've all found out it really doesn't work that well. Let's go ahead and move on. We got the second letter P in prepared. And this P is for practicing without a click. And we've talked some about using a click in our practice time. And again, we're going to spend a whole module on it in the next session. So just know that a big rookie mistake is not using a metronome or a click when you practice, and you'll learn more about that in the next module. All right, we are on the letter A, and the letter A in prepared is for alone. And what do I mean by that? A mistake players often make is that they think they can have the song ready because they can play it by themselves at home. But when you get up here with the band and you're playing something in time and in front of other people, it's a different ball game. If we didn't practice that element of real when we're alone, like playing in time and not stopping, that can really trip us up when we're in a real setting. You know, and for a lot of musicians, playing in front of other people, even their own band, their own worship team, that changes things. There's kind of a mental and emotional barrier that you don't have at home. So that means during your personal alone time practice, you need to really work and get these songs nailed down so you can then confidently play them when you're not alone, when you're around other people. All right, we're moving on to the second R, and the second R in prepared is this. It's rut. Now, what do I mean by that? You've heard the statement, practice makes perfect, right? No, it doesn't. Practice makes permanent. If you've ever been on a dirt road, you know that eventually ruts and grooves get established. And sometimes they can get so deep that you can let the car steer itself. And that's what practice does. It wears a groove or a rut in your brain, so you want to make sure you're practicing the right stuff. And that's why listening to the song multiple times is so important. You want to make sure you're making the right stuff permanent inside your brain. Now, because it's hard to unlearn this stuff once you've cut the ruts. So just remember, you got to practice the right stuff to get the right rut. All right, so we've had P, R, E, P, A, R, and we're going on to the second E, and that E stands for excessive. There is actually dangerous aspects of practicing too much, and here are a few. First, excessive practice leads you to neglect other things. I don't think God wants you to ignore your spouse, your kids, your job, your schoolwork, whatever, in order to learn the songs for Sunday. Now, serving on the worship team is important, but it's not that important, so make sure you prioritize. Another aspect of excessive is this: excessive practicing on one song. It's easy to get caught up in learning one complicated or a new song and then neglecting the other songs for that Sunday. All right, another aspect of excessive is excessive tenacity in practice. Well, it's good to have tenacity, to keep after something, and another word for that would be perseverance. So it's good to have that, but at times you can actually take it too far where it just turns into kind of unhealthy stubbornness. So at some point after you've been practicing on something for so long, the law of diminishing returns kicks in. You won't get any more out of that practice session, so take a significant break and come back to it when you're fresh. All right, so we spelled out the word prepare with our rookie mistakes here, but let's make it past tense with the letter D. And the D stands for detours, as in a big rookie mistake with practicing is getting detoured or sidetracked or distracted or sucked into little bunny trails, all right? So this mistake is about losing focus. So let's say you're practicing a song like Open Up the Heavens. Open up the heavens, we want to see. If we're going to practice effectively in less time, we've got to keep focused. And one of the tools that we've talked about in Module 4 that can help keep you focused is a timer. So I set my timer on my phone all the time to keep me focused on tasks. Like I'll give myself X amount of time to do a task, and then so I put that in the timer, and then knowing that timer is going helps me to keep focused on what I'm doing, and it keeps me from rabbit trailing off or trying to do the unproductive thing of multitasking, trying to do several things at once. And another big part of this mistake is getting distracted by your phone or your device. If you're using your phone or your iPad or tablet for practicing in some way, put them to do not disturb, because all those texts and phone calls, they will get your focus off of practicing. All right, so let's review. The first P is playing, not practicing. So we want to actually practice our music. All right, and the R is rehearsal or real, as in putting real elements into your practice. The first E is for enough. You need to play the song more than once and actually listen to the song enough. The other P is for practicing without a click. We got to plan time, and guess what? We're going to spend a whole session on that in the next module, so be looking for that. The A is for alone. It's easy to think we're good enough when we're playing alone, but the pressures of people and performing live in rehearsal and in services will reveal actually how much we should have prepared. The R is for rut, as in practice wears a groove or a rut in our brain. So we have to practice the right stuff to get the right rut. Remember, practice does not make perfect, it makes permanent. All right, another E there, it's for excessive. We can overdo practice and neglect some of the more important stuff in life. And finally, letter D is detours. Make sure you are staying focused so you can practice more effectively in less time. Now, I want to leave you with one more word that could have been in prepared, but it isn't. But I can't let you go without saying it. And that word is excuses. Too often, worship musicians make excuses for why they aren't showing up prepared. And here's the thing, life does get in the way. And we all have weeks where things go sideways and we don't get enough time to practice. But you know, most of the time, we don't practice because we failed to plan ahead and take control of our own schedules. So when I have a week like that where life goes sideways and I didn't practice enough, I try to be honest with my team and not say, hey guys, sorry I was too busy to practice. Instead, I try to own it. Hey gang, I didn't plan ahead well enough and I failed to make time to really practice this week and I've let you guys down. So being a valuable team member on your worship team means owning your responsibility to practice. So don't make excuses. And here's the thing, if you truly are too busy to practice during the week, it means you're too busy to serve on the worship team. We're called to be skilled musicians, and that skill requires preparation. So no more excuses. Be a team of owners. All right, that little lecture is concluded, and that actually puts our 7th session in the can, so we'll see you in Module 8. Open up the heavens, we want to see you open up the floodgates. Screwed it up. Leave it roll. How did I get into it? I got into it some way. Someone screwing it up. Let me give it one more take. I gotta start there. Dang it! Okay. Dang it. Dang it. Close. Yay! I think I got enough there.